without further ado, here's Miss Christine. All right, Christine.
Hi.
Want to sit back a little bit?
Oh.
There you go. All right, Christine. How are you doing?
Fine.
Good. Talk up so that the viewers can hear you. Christine, why don't you tell the viewers, how did you get your start here at America's Home Place? And how long you been with the company? And let's just start from there.
Let's see. I've been with the company almost 3 years. I took a break from commercial construction and decided to try residential. That's
How you got your start?
I did.
Okay.
I already told them. It's short, sweet.
It's short and sweet to the point. Okay, so when you started with America's Home Place, what were some of the pros and or disadvantages? It's a big process to learn.
It is.
You
It's
know,
different.
and this was your first time entering into the on-your-lot industry.
It is.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that transition, because you have a construction background.
I do.
Safety, with a focus in safety.
Yes.
So why don't you tell and share with them some of the things that you experienced as you began to embrace and really truly understand the process here at America's Home Place.
That was a lot, but it's a lot different than commercial construction. There's a lot more pieces, and there's a lot more that goes into designing a home, the functionality, making sure people get exactly what they want functionality-wise, and being able to be professional enough to tell them that doesn't work. So,
Okay.
to answer your question?
That answers it in a nutshell. We appreciate that. So, having said that, do you remember your first transaction, the first family that you helped?
The Tippets.
The Tippets. Let's talk a little bit about that experience. Yeah.
Well, the Tippets are fabulous. She was pregnant, or just found out she was pregnant, if I remember correctly. And they had, if you remind me correctly, they just bought the trailer, the mobile home.
Yes, they had. Yes, they did.
Like a year before.
A year before.
I think so. And they really wanted to, it wasn't working out for them, so they came in, we sat down. They came to a few open houses. We designed their house, made it sure it was what she wanted and all the feel that she wanted. She wouldn't overspend, so we really were, I was kind of like that nagging mom telling her, hold on, let's not go there. And then we went from there, and they shopped a little bit for a couple of our open houses, and then finally they came in and said, we're ready. And it was probably one of the best first feelings for the first family to accomplish.
And that was a wonderful family and a great transaction.
Wonderful.
And talk a little bit about where they were in the buying process, because they were actually looking into buying a barn dominium.
Right.
And here in Texas, that's really kind of a popular trend.
Here in Texas, it's very popular. So, yeah, we get a lot of people who come in contemplating whether to go barn dominium or stick build, and so they were one of those families that we were, explaining to them that, the barn dominium and the appraisals and answer,
which are really difficult to get. We got a question.
Grace, the answer to that question is no. We are stick built homes.
And not only are we stick built homes, we're stick built from the ground up. So I want to make sure, no, we're not modular. But great question, and thank you for asking. So the barn dominium deal just didn't work out for them.
It just didn't work out for them. They weren't finding what they wanted, not the size. None of the features that they were looking for came standard, so it was really just kind of not what they wanted to do in the end. And they happened to stop in, see us, and
the rest is history, right? So we got a question. How do we find out how much our mortgage will be after building a home? For example, we buy a $175,000 base house, and after completion, you know what? That's a great question. I don't know what area you're looking to build in. However, what I would suggest that you do, because each office have their set of preferred lenders, that's a question for a lender that be better asked or answered. However, if you would go to our website, punch in your zip code, it will give you the credentials for the office nearest your building site location. Get with the BC, building consultant, and or general manager to get you in contact with the lender that can service that question the best for you. And hopefully that helps you a little bit. But So the Tippets, going back to Tippets, they shopped a couple open houses. Why don't we talk about what do we do at our construction open houses?
Our construction open houses, we're showing a house that's at completion, or substantial completion, excuse me. And so we're giving everybody an idea of what we do. So that's a house that is obviously like nobody else's, because this particular couple has designed their own home. And we walk them through all the selections and show them from the standard to what the homeowner has chosen to recreate to make that home their custom home.
And what we like to do at our construction open houses is show you some of the things that you're gonna see in your home once you decide to say yes to America's Home Place, America's favorite home builder, so that you can get a realistic view of what a home looks like during the construction process. So you'll see some nicks and some things like that, and that's okay. We want you to see the truism in the process, because at the end of the day, before we're ready to release that home over to you to take ownership, it's going to be exactly what it needs to be and where it needs to be. It's going to be a polished home, one that you're going to be excited about moving into. So let's talk about pricing, Christine. A lot of people, when they make the first initial inquiry, what's the first thing that they want to know?
What's the price per square foot?
Okay, so talk to them a little bit about how pricing a custom build on their land looks like. What does it look like to the consumer, the end user?
Well, it looks like a huge number. Ultimately, they see, people want the price per square foot, and I prefer to give them the base cost of a plan that they actually like. And then we talk about the site work, and I like giving them the all-around estimated number versus a price per square foot. So then they see that price per square foot, and they're kind of going, whoa, doggy.
Well, and to also kind of give you guys a little bit more in-depth look on price per square foot, because we build in various regions, geographically speaking, each custom plan is priced differently. Now, you can equate to a custom per square foot price after we actually finalize your plan selections along with site improvements. Now, we do have a question from one of my customers, Mr. David Dunn. How long does it take you guys to come get the construction lockbox out the front door? Hey, David, is that lockbox still out there? If it is, David, we will have that lockbox out by tomorrow. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. We just thought it was going to be a nice souvenir for you.
It was a great addition.
Was it a great addition to that gate? Outside of the lockbox, how are you enjoying your new home, Mr. David Dunn? And I'm waiting for the invite for the barbecue that you promised. Okay, guys, going back to pricing. So pricing is a big question, and no, you can equate to a price per square foot, but really you have to factor all the elements that it takes to actually build a home, i.e., where your site improvement, site costs. That's your septic, your water well, anything that it takes to make the house habitable on the inside that has to take place on the outside. These are things that you got to factor when you're looking at the totality of what it actually costs you to build on your lot. And so from an average square foot price, the best thing that I can tell you to do is punch in your zip code on our website at americashomeplace.com, get in contact with a builder consultant, and start going through some floor plans and picking out some options, and that way they can actually tailor a price for you. The good news is you control the price because we're a custom builder. So we don't want to build the home that we want. We want to build the home that you want. David has a response, guys. Great so far. Shop's getting started. Oh, good. Barbecue seafood fry coming up when the weather cools off. All right, I'm holding you to that. I'm holding you to that.
For the cooling off on the weather first.
I agree. Texas heat, it's not forgiving. I can tell you that right now. So, some more questions, Christine, that you hear from typical home buyers.
How long does it take?
Oh, that's a good question.
From beginning to end, God willing, with the weather and the rain, it takes approximately 6 months from beginning to end, where we hand the keys.
That's
so,
right. And I want to add to that because you're absolutely correct. 4 to 6 months, from start to finish, barring weather. most builders in today's industry, it's taken them a little over 12 to 14 months to complete a house. And so we pride ourselves in ensuring that our processes are streamlined. We've identified all of our independent trade contractors, and everybody that's involved in the building aspect of your home knows about it. And so it becomes more of a scheduling task rather than a discovery task in determining who's going to be the framer, who's going to be the electrician, who's going to do the plumbing. We already know that on the front end. And so during the process, it makes it a lot easier from a transition or transitory process from that standpoint to get the house started and get it complete so that you can start enjoying your investment.
In addition, we do everything up front. So we eliminate any kind of filters on the backside. So change orders, we try to alleviate any change orders that we might have, because we try to make sure the plan is correct on the upfront to make sure you're not incurring any additional cost.
And let me just expand just a tad bit on that, and she's absolutely correct. What our goal is, and you'll hear this from probably across the states that we do business in, of the 42 offices that America's Home Place own and operate, we want to build it right on paper before we begin to start excavating dirt in the field. And if we believe that hey Don, I see you out there, I wanted to give you a shout out. If we believe that if we can get it built right on paper, it mitigates confusion, frustration, and elongated cycle times in the field. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Christine, let's talk about it a little bit more. Let me give you some things that you can. Does the website have pricings for each of the floor plans?
Some of our office show pricing, but we do not. We have two different areas. We have coastal and we have inland, and that pricing just gets too convoluted to have it on our website, so we don't show it.
Okay. What about some of the features? And I know each office has their own standard features list. Can you tell them how important it is to know what the standard features are? So that they can. That's how we substantiate what the cost is for each of the models that we offer.
You want me to tell them some of the features?
Yes, tell them some of Alvin's features.
Well, we have fantastic Shaw product right now as far as tile and backsplashes and everything. We use granite as standard. We supply you with your kitchen appliances. Micro range stove, dishwasher. If you don't need a well and septic, we're not going to supply you with a garbage disposal, so we'll make sure that you're taken care of there. We use Delta faucets, so you can choose between the three, whether it be the bronze, which is so country, and you got the brushed nickel, and then you can go chrome.
If you want chrome.
If you like the chrome.
Chrome is coming back. It's not back yet, but it's coming back. So we got a lot of things.
We have a lot of things that are, upgrades for some builders that are standards for us, which helps with cost for our homeowners to keep them within the budget that they're trying to stay in. So, do your local offices help find property for sale? You want to take that one?
Yeah. Of course we do. Property. There's a lot of nuances. Depending on your criteria, absolutely, we can definitely help point you in a direction that's best befitting to your situation in terms of what you're looking for from a site location standpoint, whether it be school districts, floodplains, and things of that nature. The key, though, is to have at least a geographical spot as to where you're looking to kind of narrow down that range. So that's a great question, and thank you for answering, and hopefully that answer satisfies what you're looking for. The other thing is, what about one of the things that you need to build a house? Most people don't pay cash. Most people finance, and so why don't you talk about how you transition your buyers to our preferred lender during the process?
Well, what we do is we talk about their financial situation, what they've got in the bank, where they are. We talk about their credit score. We talk about their debt to ratio income to try and keep them, make sure we're on a realistic and transparent level with them. So, when they start asking me about their credit score, we know that you need at least a 640 at the minimum. And then, we introduce them to our preferred lender here with us, is in our office. And we let them know that they are not required to go with ours, but Elizabeth, who is our preferred lender, knows our program and is very efficient. And we'll hold their hand and make sure that they're taken care of through the whole thing.
One of the most scariest things, and again, right now, I want to just remind you, our website is americashomeplace.com, and punch in your zip code and get the contact information for the office that's nearest your building site location, and they can help you walk through everything that we're kind of walking through and discussing today. But one of the scariest things that you can endure or encounter in this process is not getting transparent information, especially from your lender. We don't need lenders to overpromise and underdeliver. This is a very, very strenuous process, and what we do here at America's Home Place is we try to take the stress level out of it and partner you with someone that's going to take care of you and be transparent with you throughout the whole entire process. Because if you don't understand what it costs in terms of financing, this building process can be a nightmare. And so we want to make sure that we partner you with the right people to mitigate any frustration, any stresses that you might experience with lenders that aren't as transparent as others. And although lending is different from state to state, there are some things that are standard across the board since 2008 when the federal government reformed the mortgage industry. So yeah, when you talk to a builder consultant at any of our locations, you're not only going to get information and helpful tips on designing a home plan, but you're gonna also get information with respect to your site development and also financing situation. Now, if you're paying cash, great. I'm ready to build a house with your cash right now. So we're not prejudiced, whether it's cash or finance, and you're going to still get the quality service either way. We just want to make sure that you partner and link up with someone that's going to best service your need from a financing standpoint. So let's talk about some more plan changes. There's a lot of things that people do with plan changes. So how do you kind of keep that homeowner? We talk about budget. Of course, we would need to know your budget. Hey, how you doing? I see you out there. Cindy, you know what? I'm not going to even pretend I know your first name, but it just slipped my mind. Thank you for joining on to this broadcast. Hey, and I saw some of your pictures and your decor. You're absolutely fantastic. Your house looks like a Pinterest wallpaper map. So continue doing what you're doing, and we thank you for your business. And thank you for saluting America's Home Place and telling other people how excited you are about your decision to choose America's favorite home builder to build your forever home. Thank you for that. So let's talk about plan changes and stuff like that. We're going to give it maybe another 5 minutes, guys, and you're so welcome. Another 5 minutes, but let's talk about plan changes because, there's some folks that walk in. I've had people walk in with rolled up plans and we roll them out and it's really not their plan. Do we build owner plans? Yeah, we do. But what we try to do is we try to match your plan with one of our tested, tried and true plans. It does a couple of things. It lessens frustration and it also mitigates, rising costs associated with building something that we're not quite familiar with. But I'm going to turn it back to Christine because I know she has fun with red lines. So why don't you tell our viewers, we've got 7 right now, what's that process look like from your lens?
That's one of my favorite lenses, really. I've lived in many homes over my time. And a lot of people I deal with have also. So you figure out, you ask those questions, when in your current home, what drives you nuts about it? What do you hate about your current house? What if you could change anything, what would it be? And that's how you figure out what is the right plan for you. And even if that right plan, okay, now that we've picked the plan and the elevation that you are in love with, how does it flow the way you want it to with your future? You get a couple who's like, this is my last house. okay, you got to think about when you get into the wheelchair or you get in the walker or anything else, or if God forbid something should happen that you need some kind of, wider hallways or wider doors, things like that. So that's the fun part, where you get to think about all these things for these families and figure out what's going to suit them the best. Are you a full outdoor person, so you don't need, you want a bigger back porch versus, no, we're homebodies and we stay home and all we do is watch movies all the time. So you need a media room, or you need, those things like that we design perfectly. Or we are in Texas, almost every guy wants a safe room, so we figure out where that safe room is going to go.
I guess they like guns in Texas.
Yes. So we're finding out where that perfect gun room, will fit. I've designed one, secret man caves. I've done all kinds of different things to suit the family. So which is the fun part. So we try to make sure that structurally works, it makes sense for the family, and it works in their budget. We want to make sure that it's financially suitable for them, in addition to lifestyle.
I can tell you, thank you so much. That was a great response, actually. I can tell you that you can go this big, or you can stay within a box to keep it within a reasonable budget. And that's what we strive for. We don't want you overbuilding, but we want you to build what you're looking for. Because just face it, this is not a process or a transaction that you repeat every 3 or 4 years. Most people live in their home for, 10 or so years. Therefore, we want to make sure that the accommodation will transcend the time. And in doing so, that's why we take a concerted effort to find out what's going on here, and then we put it on paper to make sure that's exactly what you're looking for, or close to it. Now, here's the other aspect of this process. You may not always get everything in the box, but we try to get as close to it as possible, humanly possible, and that's just the transparent side of our process, and that's the kind of experience that you're going to experience with working with one of our building consultants, our GMs, our PMs. Value engineering, thank you, great term, is something that we definitely hone in on to make sure that what you do want, we're not convoluting the price and something to a point to where you're not going to be willing to pay for it, or you're not going to be happy with that investment. So great response. A lot of plan changes. We don't build to the same. We're not a cookie cutter builder by no stretch.
No, not at all.
And we take pride in building your home. Again, as I mentioned earlier, not our home, because we're not living in it. Now, if you invite me for a cookout like David's going to do, I'll be good. I can always add a room for me. How about you, Christine? How about you?
On some of these homes, they could add a lot of room for us. Just add a few rooms for a couple of us to come stay. So yes, we've done some amazing homes, and in 3 years, we haven't done 2 houses even remotely the same.
That's
Not
right.
even close. So it makes it fun.
Okay, a couple more questions, and then let's talk about a little bit about site improvements, because that's the house and the decor and the selections. That's the fun stuff. But when you got to start disturbing soil out there. What are some of the things? Because from municipalities to rural areas, there are differences. Some people don't even know what a septic tank is. Some people don't know what field dirt is. So from a floodplain perspective, from all these aspects of site improvements, light clearing, underbrushing, why don't you talk a little bit about that in brief on the front end, and why it's important to assess those costs, because a lot of builders don't even talk about site costs on the front end.
You're right. Site cost is a big chunk of your purchase, believe it or not. The base cost of the house is one thing, your upgrades and changes are another thing, but a large chunk of money, anywhere from 45 to and up, depending on your property, is, In our area, yes, sorry, excuse me. In our area is a large chunk of money that people don't expect. So you need to break this down, and we like to break it down. I like to break it down in the beginning so people know when we're talking all 3 aspects of what your cost to your home is going to be. It's breaking down all 3 of those. So, do you need a well and septic? Do you already have your well? Do you already have your septic? Do you already have things like, how far back are you wanting a full driveway? You know, what is your property like? Do we need to clear trees? You may say, oh, I have this perfect spot. We get out there and you have to clear 5 trees that you weren't expecting to clear. You know, that makes a huge difference for some people. So I think that the way we address the site costs in the front end, it helps the homeowner to understand the full aspect and the full capacity of what they're actually doing. They're not just, hey, build me a house, and all of a sudden they're out there in 4 months there's a house, and not know what goes into it. So we spend quite a bit of time going over that to make sure it's fully comprehensive, fully transparent, because we do pride ourselves on our transparency for our homeowners, our future homeowners, so that they know what they're walking into.
Well said, well said. And I'd like to add insert this one comment. Well said. Now, if there's anything that you have the capacity and the liquidity to do in terms of site costs, we encourage that you do it. So it's not something that's mandatory if there's a different outlet or different direction or an alternative that's going to help reduce some of those absorbent costs. Value engineering, going back to value engineering, we'll definitely say, hey, you can do it and take the builder out of the, and we make sure that it's done right for you too as well. So again, it's a 2-piece, 3-piece, but it's all 1 piece to us. We want to make sure at the end of the day that you're excited about your investment in your decision to choose America's favorite home builder, America's Home Place, to build your forever home. And let me plug this again, americashomeplace.com. You punch in your zip code, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the nearest office that's nearest your location, your building site location. So a few more questions about the process, and then we'll close this broadcast until the next broadcast here in about another 3 to 4 weeks. And I want to just say this, everyone that's joined, thank you so much. Thank you for the few questions that we have. Again, if you want to hold your questions until you can get with your building consultant in your nearest building office, man, you feel free to do that. Everybody that works at America's Home Place, that's what we do. That's what we breathe. That's what we live and breathe, is service. So outside of, why don't you just give them in a nutshell the process from first meeting to selecting the plan and so on up until the COC, which is the construction loan closing. So,
okay,
real brief.
First, I want to tell you this is not a non-emotional process. I mean, this journey is an emotional up and down roller coaster. It doesn't matter who you are. I can't think of one person that we've worked with that thought it just was cool through the whole process. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So I'd be lying if I said, oh, you'll sit back and drink a mojito the whole time and just sit and wait your house. It's not. It's emotional. It's you're watching everything happen throughout. But the things that happen throughout this is, when you come in, you become family. First of all, you walk in the door, we greet you as if you're a long lost cousin who walked in the door. We hadn't seen you in years. And then we sit down and we talk. The first initial meeting is a fully conversational meeting. It's not saying, hey, let's buy right now. We're wanting to get to know you, wanting to know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, what your goals are, what the longevity of this home is for you. And so from there, we take it to, if you're ready and you've picked a plan and we're talking to you about financing. At the same time, we're doing tracks, and you're on a track to get your financing done. On our track, we're picking out your plan, and we're giving you a preliminary with all your wish list items. Doing this wish list items gives you an idea of what a true cost of everything that you really want is. And then from there, you get to kind of go, okay, we need to live in the house. We don't need this, and we can check this off. The gold leaf isn't all that important anymore. We can get that at Hobby Lobby next week, or whatever. And we try to make sure that's where we value engineer. From there, we're setting, if you're ready to move forward, we're moving forward to the site meeting, which is where we're narrowing down your site costs. We're trying to make sure that we're not doing more than we need to do, or there's something that you decide that you want to do. It's where you get to decide how much concrete driveway you want. It's all those things like that, and walkways and everything like that. From there, a couple days later, you get to come have fun with me in the office, and we get to spend a couple hours designing your home.
And can I insert real quick?
Sure.
Because this is organic, and I forgot to mention this. Everything is done under one roof. We don't send you to that place
Yeah,
or
I was
another
just getting to
place.
that, yeah.
You know, everything's done under one roof. So
Yeah.
let me turn this back to you. You're doing a great job. Good job.
Yes, so we come here and we spend a couple hours picking things. This is where I become the nag mom again, where I say, okay, wait, hold up.
Stay.
Where are you going to get that money for that? You know, stay with me, come back.
Yeah.
And so, again, we're redoing your numbers again to make sure that we're staying within your budget to keep you from being house poor. Because we don't want you to be house poor. We want you to still go to dinner once in a while. Come visit us.
All right. So we've extended our time. Great response. Hey guys, I want to thank Christine. She did a great job today. I'm sure you guys got a wealth of information, those who joined us on this broadcast. I'm looking forward to the next broadcast. I don't know what we're going to do. Probably do something a little bit more crazy. But if you have questions, and you were not able to ask those questions on this forum, man, go to americashomeplace.com, punch in your zip code, and get in contact with one of our building consultants. I call them professionals, or nagging mom, as Christine mentioned a few times. So we enjoyed, and we definitely appreciate you guys joining us today. I'll catch you at the next broadcast. I'm Lowell Pinnock, your host, with America's favorite home builder, America's Home Place, and we're ready to build your next forever home. Thank you for joining this broadcast, and I'll see you next time. Take care.